This is the Perdition clear for Scion of the Bird Herais without using HYufine and also no Bihu. Instead we have Tamarinne, Carrot, Hazel, and Tieria, 1 free unit, and 3 3-stars, so a free-to-play setup pretty much. And of course there's upgrades to some of these slots probably, but this is going to be the accessible version. We do need level 4 Libra though in Blessing of the Stars, so we can go take a look. What this does is it increases the effectiveness of the Soul Weaver in the front row by 100%, and when attacking, inflicts 2 burn effects for 1 turn. This makes Tamarinne an insanely powerful debuffer. She can spam 2 burns with her S1, and idle S1 will AoE 2 burns. Also, this level 5 thing decreases amount recovered by all enemies by 30%. That is definitely worth picking up. It makes it so at the adds when they attack, they'll heal less, both the boss and themselves. 4 and 5 are kind of a package, their points are really close to each other, but just in case you can't hit level 5, it's 98 ES average on your blessing units, we'll just run with level 4. Definitely worth picking up level 5 if you can though. Also, it's kind of interesting that the level 2 and the level 4 both overlap. It's front slot only, but they're 2 different classes, so I think it's intended for us to not have HYufine be pretty much mandatory to clear once we hit level 4. So now we can go ahead and take a look at everyone's stats. Let's start off with Tamarinne. For Tamarinne, the important thing is her F-res. The adds have silence on their S1, and you want to be able to use your idle S3 when you need to. Even though she's typically spamming S1, you do still need the S3 to cleanse. We need about 240 F-res, at least that number has looked safe. It might be 250, not 100% sure. We have 187 here, and then Bastion of Hope gives us 20 plus 35, so 55, and we are actually at 242. So aim for 240, and then besides the F-res, just give her some speed and some bulk. Her bulk is just enough so that she doesn't die, because she's frontlining, so she's taking a lot more damage. For her imprint, you probably want the team imprint, or you could self-imprint if you find yourself wanting the HP more. It's basically if you need more damage from your burns or more HP on your Tamarinne. You can take a look at her stats here, or her gear pieces here, nothing too special. Next up is Researcher Carrot. For Researcher Carrot, we're using Warhorn just to give attack to herself and also the CR push. For the effectiveness, we can go for 115 because we have 5% effectiveness from the skill tree, and then Hazel skill tree gives 10, and the Leo Blessing gives 10. We need 140 F-res, or 140 F at the end. So since we're getting 25 for free, we could go down to 115. Besides that, it's just speed, bulk, attack. Same thing, you want enough bulk to not die, since the boss kills everybody when anybody dies. And here are the pieces of gear. You do want a decent amount of attack, just to make sure that you can actually kill the adds when you have greater attack buff. Shouldn't be too big of an issue, though. And then for her skill tree, the important ones are just the free attack, free defense, and also the free HP. You might as well get the CR push on the S1, and then the burn chance on the S3 is really important. The damage reduction, I actually can't tell if this procs at all in this fight, but there's also the effectiveness for all allies. Now for Mascot Hazel. Mascot Hazel, Nagaraha's Tome just for cycling. You could also use a healing artifact if you need that. Her stats don't really matter too much. 230 speed is what we're using here, and then just give her enough bulk to not die to the AoEs. The F-res is not useful at all. And then the attack, if you need more healing, you could give her some attack, since her healing scales off attack for some reason. And then for the skill tree, you can get the S2 healing right here, heals everybody when using S2. And then the free stats on the top 3 here, as well as the free effectiveness for fire allies and free attack for fire allies. Is Tieria. Tieria, it's just a full damage build, pretty much. You want 85 crit chance and 350 crit damage, or rather, it's a full crit build, so max out your crits plus 191 speed. You have elemental advantage, so you need 85 crit chance, and besides that, just aim for bulk. Her attack does not matter, you want the bulk more than anything else. You can see her gear pieces here, and we're using Daydream Choker, of course. This might be hard because you're also aiming for Torrent, but you want Bruiser gear more than anything else, just because after you've maxed out your crits, you want the boss to not one-shot you when using its AoEs, and that gives you a much easier time in the fight if you have bulk. That is it for the stats, now you can take a look at the run. But in this fight, Tamarinne is pretty much our main burn applier on the boss. Carrot will be covering the ads. A Gab Carrot S3 will kill the ads in phase 1. In phase 2, you'll need to add some other sources of damage to kill them, but this will be good enough for now. So Tamarinne's just going to be spamming her S1 until you need Idle Form to cleanse the debuffs going into each phase. And then Hazel is giving attack buff to Carrot, and then you can use S2 just to cycle more. Besides that, you want to keep count of the 9 on the boss. Not the one under its bar, but the energy of life on the side. Once it hits 9, you'll resummon all of the ads again. It also push you back. Here the ads get resummoned, so you can just give attack buff to Carrot and have her kill the ads again. Even though the ads don't heal the boss, you do want to kill them off just so they don't give him Constellation energy. We have much less burn application in this team compared to the other Perdition teams, so we don't want to give him too much Constellation energy for free. But here it's at 7, Carrot brings it to 8. You can use Tamarinne S2 to skip her turn here, and this passes the 9th hit over to Hazel. When you S1 here, the boss is going to summon the ads, push everybody back, and since Tamarinne has the highest base speed, she'll be the one to go first, since everybody hits 0 CR, and this also flattens out your CR RNG. There's no more CR RNG in this fight. Tamarinne S3 to cleanse off the Stigma and the Unbuffable, and just S2 for the CR push to help you cycle more. I mentioned that you need more damage to kill the ads now in phase 2. Carrot S3 combined with Tamarinne S1 will be enough to kill. You can see Tamarinne's idle S1 now. AoE applies 2 burns, really good. That's hit number 8, so this next hit will summon the ads, which is fine because Hazel gets pushed behind the boss strips when he uses S1. This way we can safely give greater attack buff onto Carrot. In S3 onto the ads again, but since Tamarinne doesn't have her idle form anymore, we're going to soul burn this, and this way we can use Carrot's S1 to start killing off the ads instead. We're still gonna Tamarinne S1 onto the boss, just to reduce its Constellation energy. If you Tamarinne S1 onto the ads, it will kill them, but you would miss out on debuffing the boss directly. The ad is gonna heal a bit here, but it's fine because we killed off 2 of them already. Here, you probably shouldn't use Tamarinne S3, just because the boss, when it strips buffs on its S1, it strips undispellable buffs too. So your idle form is going to go poof. You have to S1 the boss here anyways, just because the Constellation energy is so high. And Carrot takes the turn to kill the ad anyways. You can see, after the boss takes its turn, the idle form is just gone. Very interesting. But this is the final hit of phase 2. It's at 6, and you can Tamarinne S2 here to stall a turn again. This is just so that when the boss hits count 9 and summons the ads again, it'll be far down enough the CR bar, the ads can't pass it and they can't heal it. This is why I mentioned wanting a lot of bulk. Having a lot of bulk on your units lets you do stuff like what's going to happen here, where you kind of just face tank almost all of the damage from this attack. Because he is at like 85% HP and you can just tank this hit no problem. So now we are in phase 3. The turn order is a bit wonky. Tamarinne's a little bit far back, but it's fine. Skip the carrot S3 for now. Need to get the attack buff first. So you can just S1 the boss and keep an eye on the count. It's at 5. Tamarinne idle S3. And S2 for more cycling. Tieria takes her turn, Solver and S3 into S1 into the boss. Constellation energy is getting a bit high, but you can give Carrot greater attack buff and have her S3, and this will bring it back down. We have extra souls, but there's not really any need to Solver and Carrot or anything. Now Tamarinne goes, and this guarantees that the ads will die, and that timing was really nice. The boss hit 9 as the ads were still alive, so he couldn't summon anymore. So now all you need to do is cycle Tieria's S3 back up, and you're good to go. So you also want to keep an eye on the energy of life. Similar to the end of phase 2, you want to try and spawn the ads when the boss is far enough down the CR bar that he's not going to be able to, or the ads won't be able to take a turn and heal the boss in time, or you just need to set it up so that you can kill the ads before they are able to heal the boss. Here you get S2 or S1. S2 might have been better just because the Constellation energy doesn't really matter, but it's at 8 now. Here is hit 9, but luckily the boss does get more speed as the number goes down, so it has enough speed to just cut the ads where it wouldn't have in some of the earlier phases. You can Tamarinne S3 or use Kazran on that turn if you don't have Tamarinne S3 up, because Kazran does CR push. You just push Tieria up, Solver and S3 into S1, and the fight is pretty much over since the ads are so far behind, they won't be able to heal him or anything. And that's the fight.